Hello, everyone. Welcome to High Vibe Chats with Dee and Lauren. How are all of you doing today? My name is Diana.c.bamford. Everybody calls me Dee. I am a Reiki master, Ascension channel psychic, and channeler based here in beautiful San Diego, California. And this is Lauren.
Hello, my name is Lauren Anchetta. I am the Yoga Nidra priestess, a Reiki master, yoga teacher, mom, all of the above, and I'm helping to usher in this wave of the divine feminine energy, the rest revolution, through my main forms of yoga that I'm teaching right now, which is Yoga Nidra and Yin and Reiki.
Yes. Oh, love it. Love it. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Today, we're super excited. We have this beautiful conversation, a mindful conversation about life beyond Earth. And Lauren and I were discussing, it's like, okay, let's see, there's so many topics that we can touch on. And we're like, okay, we can talk about post-election, feelings and all that. But we feel like there's so much about it, and there's so much more things to talk about that we decided to talk about this beautiful topic.
Let's talk about aliens.
Yes. So let us know in the comments if you had any experiences, anything you would like to share with us, because we are all ears, many ears. And I will definitely let Lauren take the handle on this. And what inspired you to chat about this today, Lauren?
I'm by no means an expert in this field. So that's why when I talk to Dee about, hey, I kind of have this idea, but I want it to just be a fun and flowy, inquisitive conversation. Just to kind of plant the seeds and see, take a pulse with those who see us, and where are you at with life beyond Earth? I think this is something that at some point in our lives we've all thought about and pondered on. And I'm trying to think of when my first experience was thinking about aliens or extraterrestrials. And I think a lot of us, maybe our first, many of us, our first experience with extraterrestrials or aliens would probably be through Hollywood and through movies. And I think that paints a very sometimes fearful picture of what this might be. The Predator alien is coming into my mind right now, right? And that looks horrifying. And why would I hope that is real? But I don't know. I think it's maybe part of my makeup. What I'm here to do is just, I always have had this open mind, and I've always just wondered, what if? And what would that look like? And it's just this playful energy of oh man, have I ever seen an alien in the flesh straight in front of me? I don't think so. But I don't know, because there's a whole lot of gray area there. But I just wanted to just have this talk and see where we're all at. And I wanted to start it by just, okay, I have some notes here. So
we like to be organized.
We like to be organized, especially when, again, I'm not an expert in this field. But I think it's important that we just understand how small we really are. And if we think about, okay, so the Earth is located in our solar system, which has the sun and 8 planets and a lot of ice and rocks and dust. And then we are embedded in within the galaxy of the Milky Way. And what that looks like is a big flat disk of stars that apparently measures up to 120,000 light years across. Now, our Milky Way is but one galaxy in a larger collection of galaxies known as a local group. And there are 36 known objects in this local group. And that's only the known ones, by the way, because, of course, science in the solar system, there's a whole lot of unknown. However, okay, There's also the Triangulum, I might be butchering that, Triangulum galaxy, the Milky Way, and the Andromeda galaxy, which is by far the largest, most massive object in the local group. It's twice the size and 4 times the mass of the Milky Way, which is our galaxy. So this thing's huge. And okay, also, just a fun fact, astronomers estimate that there are over 100 to 200 billion galaxies in the universe. So I want us to just all ponder on that for a second. That's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of names. Are we so in our ego to think that we, out of the infinite amount of possibilities and galaxies and solar systems, et cetera, and the cosmos, that we're the only living beings? That to me seems completely implausible. That's harder for me to believe than it is for me to believe that extraterrestrial life exists. That I can get behind. I'm like, yeah, no, totally. Absolutely. But the fact, like, there are people who think, no, human beings, that's it. It's just us. So I just want us to all ponder on that for a minute. Even if you don't have a solid answer for like yes or no, let's just try to sit in that space of being an open mind. Because if you clicked on this video and you're listening to us right now, you're curious. You're curious. And with curiosity is an open mind. And that's a great space to be in. We're not asking you to leave this being like yes or no. It's just more of like, let's ponder on it. So with that being said, Dee, is there anything you would like to add?
I always use that. Hold on. I have this. Just get it out. Anybody needs to shake it out. I have this. I feel like I need to ground. Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry. I always do you.
Because we're talking about the cosmos. You're going up there.
Yeah. I use that very often, especially even when I'm very much in my human, that if we really are that egotistic, why are we destroying our planet? If we're this unique in this galaxies, even though we know that all these other galaxies exist, but in our tiny brains, we think we're the only ones. It's like, next time you do something rude or just throw a tantrum, think about it. There's nobody else, if you think that way, in the world, like in the universes, other than we're the only life. For me, that's just not realistic. There's just not realistic. If they have, proof that life did exist in other planets, and that is science, how can we be so limited? Just like limit ourselves that there's no possibility of life in any other planets. And yes, Hollywood has painted a picture of, the big eyes, the triangle face alien, or that they're bad. Because of course, something that we don't know, it's going to be bad. How can it be good? So it's another way of control, fear. Be fearful of what you don't know. And that is really sad that we're always fearful of what we don't know. And that I'm just like, when we don't know how something's going to feel, how something looks, why do we have to go into the fear? So putting Hollywood aside or anything like that aside, yes, humans are comfortable with what is familiar. And aliens, extraterrestrials, are not very familiar. They're not in our field. If when we were growing up, our parents were like, yes, aliens also, they do exist or they don't exist or whatever. Just even have a simple opinion other than, no, you're crazy, they don't exist. That's just something that Hollywood make up. It would be such a different world right now that we live in. So I always touch on that again, that if we are in this vast universe, think about it. If we're the only ones, why, and we're so privileged, why do you live such an unprivileged life? And I use that with my clients often. And sometimes it doesn't rub the same, the best way. And this may not resonate with you at all, and that's okay. You know, there's no judgment. You may believe, you may not. You may believe in one God or one being, and that's okay. That is your belief. Just giving yourself permission to broaden the spectrum.
Yes.
But always keeping it open for possibilities, right? Even within religion, sometimes there's the possibility there's more there than
Right.
what some person says. So,
Because if you're closing yourself off, and not to interject, apologies, but
no.
you're limiting yourself. If you don't have, if for whatever reason, usually it's fear, you have a block up to, nope, that can't exist. Nope, no way. Like, what do they call? I can't think of it right now, but I'll come back to it if I do. Cognitive dissonance. That's what. Thank you. Where sometimes a topic is too intense for us to sit on and just ponder over. It's so out of our range of belief, of possibility, that we just automatically shut it down. Nope, don't want to see it, don't want to know about it. And I understand and I respect anybody who feels that way about any kind of topic, because that's your journey. But I would say, do you think you're limiting yourself? Because we are limitless. We are limitless beings. And I think that's a part of the journey of stepping into our own power. And I mean, I've been stepping into my power. I've been on this journey for a minute, and there's still more to go. Every layer of the onion is like a little bit more into my power, and a little bit more, and then a step back, and then a little bit more. But we are limitless. The possibilities are endless. And I think that these interdimensional beings, extraterrestrials, aliens, we always like to label things, being human. But I think they're label lists. I don't know if we really can label this. I mean, I've picked up on, and I feel like they have been helping us and assisting us along the way as long as humanity's been alive. And I wouldn't be surprised, and I know that there are theorists out there who think that extraterrestrial life actually used to be much more active on this planet. The example that it just pounds into my head is ancient Egypt. Okay? Those pyramids. Come on.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if you look at their hieroglyphs and how they depict their gods and goddesses, I don't know about you, but I think it's highly possible that there might have been extraterrestrial life that was around and came down into a more open-minded community of humans, because we got to be open-minded. Contact. If it's not safe for them to come, they're not going to come. But and then these humans saw these giant beings, perhaps the name of these that it's supposedly was Anunnaki. Anywho, but if they saw these giant beings, they would probably think they were gods. Yeah. Right? Think about even in ancient Greece, all the gods and goddesses are depicted as these larger than life beings, right? It's just something to ponder on. What do you think about the whole ancient Egypt and the pyramids?
There's tons. Oh, I love it. No, well, the pyramids, they're literally charging stations. They were, and it's been proven that they were not temples, and that it was not a place to hold the death. They know that it had a different role. There's tons of content out there. Like Netflix has tons of documentaries. I'm a documentary geek, and there's a really beautiful documentary that is new on Netflix. I cannot remember the name of it. It'll come to me. But they actually speak about Mat, which is an Egyptian goddess, but it's a feline. And in that excavation that they did, they found the very first, I believe it was, I can't remember if it was a tiger or a lion baby cub mummified. And that truly, they believe, might walk there. walk the earth. And she was there, and she was considered this big goddess. But if we tap in even deeper, the Anunnaki also did. So, and we'll tap into that, right, a little bit more. But something that is very common among, now in spirituality, we have, of course, spirituality and gods and goddesses and all the different types of spirituality, and also incorporating a little bit of religion and just the beliefs. And one of the big ones that one is a big topic is the star seeds. Right? A lot of people are like, I think I'm a starseed. I don't know if I'm a starseed. And we were just talking about that, about, starseeds. I believe we all have, I believe we're all our starseeds. I truly do. And some are more aware of it than others. So if you're somebody, well, Lauren, how about you first explain to us what a starseed is?
So my understanding of starseeds is, okay, put it into a little container. These are beings that are more galactic based, and I wouldn't say like DNA wise, but just our origin beyond this human existence. Can be interdimensional. It is interdimensional. Some people do have more of an earthly origin. Some people have more of a cosmic origin. Starseeds have more of a cosmic origin, and there's hybrids. It's not black and white. Nothing's black and white. It's all gray area. Like, again, possibilities are endless. But starseeds supposedly have come to Earth with a very specific coding and a very specific mission. Earth put out a signal, and I don't know when this started, to be honest, but she was putting out a signal. The trajectory that we were on was going to destroy Earth. So she put out a signal like, help me. I need help. Starseeds picked up the call and agreed to incarnate on Earth with, again, a specific coding. They say that there is like an alarm clock within them that will help them to wake up at a certain point to do what they need to do. And this is to bring this specific star quality way of doing things to Earth. And I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it, but I'll leave it there. Now, these beings on Earth might feel, supposedly, like physical qualities are, they can almost look a little like very striking features, supposedly like big eyes, maybe a interesting shaped skull. There's going to be something about them that's very alien-esque, if you will, right? Typically, or just like a very angelic face. There's all different qualities, and it could very well be dependent on what lineage or not what lineage, but what, where they come from. Anyhow, so boop, 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 they could feel while they are asleep like they don't belong here. They're always gazing at the stars. They're very curious about life beyond Earth, like D&I. And that there's got to be more to this. I don't feel like I belong here fully. I feel odd or different or weird. And this could have been throughout childhood, etc. And then there's like, all of a sudden you start learning about starseeds or about interdimensionals, and it starts to like, I've realized with myself, there's just this major excitement because it's like remembering, it's all coming online again. And you're like, like there is more beyond this, and I'm here for a reason, and everything's going to be okay. So yeah, do you have anything to add about starseeds?
I just love it. The best thing, if you want to know if you're a starseed or not, the easiest way is like, how comfortable are you here on Earth? If you feel you fit in completely, it's just you're in your jam all the time, it's just that, then probably not so much a starseed. But if you're feeling like, oh, I never felt like I fit in. Like I was looking for something else. I'm always in the search for something else. Like what's next? In the search for the purpose. Then that is definitely you're a star seed, and it's beautiful to explore that. Doesn't mean you're gonna become this crazy alien in any way, but it's just to sit with it. That there's a reason why you feel you don't fit in, or you're weird. Like me, when I was in, and actually I'm about to do a post on this. So I don't know how many of you out there know that in my right eye, I have a birthmark. But if I close my eyes, it's like an oval. It used to be more like a circle. So it's really dark on the bottom. It's gotten lighter on the top. And growing up, I was so self-conscious about it. I wanted to get rid of it. And then it was inside the part of my eye. So I have to go to the doctor often to make sure that it wasn't spreading or anything if I needed surgery. And I wanted it out and gone. And, I'm a woman, so I use makeup. Makeup covers it. But when I was growing up, I got made fun of it all the time. I got made fun of it. And it's just like, oh, you look like a dog. You're like a puppy. And as I got a little bit older, the jokes got a little bit more cruel. And then it was just like, oh, they punch you, but they didn't shut your eye. And just things like that. And I realized I was like, uncomfortable teen and felt bad. And then I was like, I never feel like I fit around these people. And I took it into my clothes. So I always wore the funkiest clothes. I would wear, sandals with socks, and I will make it fucking work. Okay. So it was just like, and people would tease me, but I would always say, it's like, bring it. I'm like, I don't care. I'll take it. Because I knew that there was more beyond their words. Like it was not about me. I felt like I didn't fit in and I didn't have to. So till this day, then it just became, oh, Dee can pull off any clothes. Oh, Dee can do anything. And I was like, because I don't belong with you. And I know, not because I felt like superior in any way, but it was my protection shield, just to kind of go there. But I always felt like, where I come from, they dress really funky. They're in their element. That's who they are. And there's different things that one can experience and still be of this world, but be part of this world, but not of this world. So allowing yourself to be where you are while we're experiencing all this with just allowing yourself to be. I don't even know where I was going with that.
No, that's a really good point, because that was in my head too, is that it can be really exciting to dive into these topics and want to figure out your starseed family and like, is this you? And this resonates and this feels really good. But we still agreed, and we are here having a human existence. Mm-hmm. So we cannot bypass our human. And I can leave it at that, really. Like, we are here to have the human existence. And the human feelings and thoughts and emotions. We're not above it. We're not below it. We're in it. And this is a part of our soul contract if you're here, right? Just to be human. So that balance, because it can be a very lonely and ostracizing feeling to not, be in full acceptance of where you are right now. So with that being said,
with that, it's what comes next, which is the questions, right? Mm-hmm. We begin to question, and and then what happens in this rabbit hole, which is a really fun rabbit hole, it's that it's one question about it after another and after another and after another, and this is where we can get a little bit more. And I know Lauren just had a very, very recent experience that I believe she's going to share with all of us. But this is where, once you're like, okay, I know I was born on Earth, just for this lifetime, born on Earth, and I grew up here, California, wherever you are in the world. And what is next? If you feel that it's not, what you're doing right now is not fulfilling at a soul level, ask the questions. go down the rabbit hole. You don't have to stay in that rabbit hole. You don't have to believe every single thing that is in that rabbit hole. Believe me, I've been down that rabbit hole, and it's taken me places where it looked really real and it wasn't real, and I needed to use my discernment to pick and choose. So take some online test and see what resonates, see what feels good. Ultimately come to what feels good for you. So asking the questions of, like, even you, if you're a non-believer and you're highly religious, in your prayer, ask in your prayer, is there life beyond earth? And notice what comes. Just allowing, without knowing, without making whatever answer is going to come, just allowing it to be. And if you're somebody who's searching, having the questions, ask and trust in your intuition, your beautiful guidance that is guiding you here right now. If you're watching this video either live or the replay, there's a reason. There's a reason why you're beginning to question, and there's a reason just what curiosity just sparked. So this is your validation and your confirmation to keep going. Go for it. You're going to discover beautiful and amazing things. And the ones that don't feel good, you can set aside. Maybe come back to them later if they call or when they call. But yes, with the questions are like, once we dive in, it's like, okay, like Lauren actually sent me one time. Elizabeth April is somebody you can find on YouTube and Instagram. She's fantastic. And she had a questionnaire on your star family. And Lauren actually sent it to me. And it was very interesting because I didn't expect it, what my stars family was. And Lauren, what was yours? You remember Pleiadian? What was yours? Pleiadian? Mm-hmm. And mine ended up being Anunnaki. And I went down that rabbit hole. And I had experience. Yeah. So it's interesting where it takes you. You are in full control. Anything to add to the questions, Lauren?
No, I think that's perfect.
Perfect. You want to share what happened?
The experience. Okay. So it was just this past week, or no, not even the weekend. We went camping a couple days ago out here in Oahu, and nature is a very active place for experiences in general, especially depending on where you are. And Hawaii is just a very spiritually potent place in general. So we're camping. I'm with my family, and it started, like, nighttime rolled around, and it was just an interesting night. I'm very I feel energy very physically, and I started to feel just sensations, and through my own practice, I'm kind of like, all right, this just usually means there's just other energies around, and that's that, and kind of let it go. And I could tell my sister was with us, and she's also very open, pretty sensitive, and I could just tell she was kind of like going into hermit mode. And I was letting her be. We're all around the campfire. And then she heads inside to go to bed. And at that point, I was sitting there, and I think I was talking with my husband, and he was doing something. So I was just staring off, doing my thing, looking at the stars, right? Like, it's one of the most beautiful things about camping is that you're usually in a place that's, you're able to see the stars very well. And so I was just in awe of the stars, looking all around. We could see Mars. We could see all the things. And he had his little star map app on his phone. So I had been, like, taking that up and seeing what constellations we were around. And I was just really in a fun space. And I'm sitting there staring into the fire. And then all of a sudden, like, I look over by our cabin, and right in front of the cabin, this blue light started to form, and it, like, grew and grew and grew and grew into, like, as big as a full-size person. And I was trying to describe it to Dee. I'm like, it's like an aura, but it wasn't an aura. And it was kind of like an aura, but it wasn't an aura. But it was just this really blue, translucent, fuzzy, human-sized energy. Okay? So I'm staring at it, and of course I'm blinking my eyes, and I'm kind of like, what? What am I seeing when I'm seeing? And it stayed there for like a couple seconds, and then boom, faded away, gone. Told my husband, and you know, just like, whoa, that was so cool. That's not where the experience ends. I went inside at some point, and my sister was telling me, she's like, I can't sleep. I've got like full body tingles all over. There's all this energy around. And I, you know, told her, I'm like, all right, just breathe through it, you know, like let it go, shake it out, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go back outside, or was getting ready for bed, something like that. And as I'm getting ready for bed, something calls me to like look out my window, and I see this star in the sky that was way brighter than any other star that was in the sky. And it wasn't out there. It wasn't there when I was outside, because I, you know, again, was looking all over. And so I'm like, holy crap, you know, I go closer and I'm trying to see it through the screen. And I'm like, I got to go outside. And I go through the cabin and I tell my sister, like, get outside. And she's not moving. But I'm like, okay, whatever, I got to go. Like, and I head outside, and my husband had followed me, and we're staring. And even he, you know, and I would call him open-minded, yet more of a skeptic, perhaps, than me. But he's grabbing his phone. He's like, holy shit, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do you see this? Okay, so it looked like a star, but extremely bright. And it was blinking light. So you would think, like, Lauren, you saw an airplane. I get it. I know. I went through all the things. Okay, and it had these rays, these light rays coming off of it, like this crown. And it was blinking like green, red, blue, white, green, red, blue, white. And it was going through all of these colors. And I'm staring. I'm like, oh, I'm again trying to like discern, like, what the hell am I looking at right now? And it was so beautiful and so sparkly, and it was not moving. I stood out there for like 5 minutes staring at it. And while it was going off with all of its incredible colors, there was like this other light below it that was kind of like strobing a bit. And then it was strobing off to the right and strobing down below. But the excitement I felt like that coursed through my body when I saw this was like another level. I felt like I was a kid, and I was so excited, but like calm and just zoned in. And finally my sister came out, and she's trying to look, she's blind as a bat without her glasses or contacts. But she's looking, and she's even seeing this strobing effect. And she told me, like, she's like, I didn't get up right away. She told me she didn't get up right away because she felt this really cool gust of wind come in from the side of the cabin where we were not receiving wind. It came in from that side, washed all over her, and then her body just like, it was just, again, like this really wild, intense wave of energy that hit her. And she couldn't move for a minute. She couldn't come join us. And then she did. And so she's kind of, but then, you know, we switched the perspective, and I'm just like a kid in a candy store. I had zero fear. I was so excited about everything that had transpired that night. And it was just, I mean, in that thing stayed. It did not move until I went inside. And then I'm getting in bed. I'm like, wait, I used to be able to see it. And then it had gone up, and it had come back down. But it wasn't going away. It wasn't flying off. It wasn't a plane. And I sat and kind of connected with myself and got the download that like, that was something. That was UFO. And there are more and more people with stories right now than ever, than I've ever heard before. More and more people are coming out with like, oh my God, look at the sky. I've seen the craziest stuff. And this was undeniable. I've seen other things where I'm like maybe, and this was really undeniable. And it was incredible. Yeah. So that was it.
It's crazy. No, but it's so powerful because I think I'm going to be brave enough to say 90% of people have experienced something like that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what was that? And then we try to make sense of what it is, rather than just allowing it to be whatever it is. And if it's a plane, it's just going to be a plane. And if it's something else, is it something else visiting? Not everything becomes an abduction, right? Not everything, aliens are going to come and take you, away in that form. There's other ways for alien abductions. But just allowing yourself to go, no, really, like really go in there with the experiences that we may have. Something very common is that when so there's something called sleep paralysis, right? And it's like it's a thing. It's a medical term that people use, like, oh, you're paralyzed at night. Yes. Okay. Sleep paralysis can also come from high frequency energy. There's a lot of times where people feel that like completely paralyzed, and then they feel somebody's on top of them. When I was younger, I experienced that, and I literally saw this white being like this on top of me. Like I could see their face and their hands on my chest. And I can't. In Mexico, they call it that the dead comes and gets us. Se te sube el muerto, is what they say. The dead comes, a dead person comes and lays on you. And it's scary, right now. But then again, I grew up Catholic, and they try to scare the GBDs out of you when you're a child. So it was that, and I was like so scared. So now, when things like that happens, and why we feel this is something super key. If you're somebody who experienced sleep paralysis, but you're in the spiritual realm and you're exploring protection and intention at night tonight, going to bed with an intention is huge. But when we're experiencing things like this, it doesn't mean that we're doing anything. It means that our body, our energy is acclimating to this high vibrational frequency of energy, because these are high vibrational beings that if they come into your room, our body literally goes into this shock, our energy field. But it's not a bad thing. We just have to surrender and let go. It doesn't mean that, oh, well, if I surrender and let go, they're gonna take me and do things on me, and leave Hollywood on the side. Be open-minded, soften yourself to the what if of possibilities. And Lauren knows I've had many experiences when it comes to this sleep paralysis, and I can't, like, my eyes can be completely closed and I can feel it, but I can see every single detail in my room or wherever I am. My eyes will be closed, but I can see everything because my third eye is open and fully aware, and I can see what is happening. But if I surrender myself more and more into the experience, I can actually have that experience of what is next. What happens is that, we become scared, and it happens to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not in full control. And you begin trying to moan or make any noise or try to move because you're paralyzed so that somebody can wake you up. And as soon as they wake you up, you're like, ah. And I used to be that person. I still experience it, but once they wake you up, it's like, before, for me, my husband will wake me up and I'll be like, take a breath. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm out of it. I will simply lay back in bed, close my eyes, and he'll grab me all over again. So how many of you may have experienced something like this? And if it makes you scared, why and how is this making you scared? To what degree? Granna wanted to chat just a little bit as we were talking about, life beyond Earth. Yes, we have Pleiadian energy. You mentioned Andromeda. There's that Andromeda, beings, Arcturians, Lyrians, Pleiadians already, Anunnaki,
Grays,
Mantis. I feel like I'm missing so many. Do you have any other?
It's infinite.
Yeah,
there's so many.
It is infinite, right? But even if you look here on Earth, so many species just in the bug department or ocean, they're like, ooh, that looks very alien-like. Even if we go into, we humans are the same as in God's appearance. Aren't they maybe our mantis in the appearance of other beings, right? Where they come from? It's okay to question. It doesn't mean you're not going to go to hell if you question. Believe me, I am a person that had a conversation with a priest and wanted to excommunicate me. And I said, no, you're not going to do that because you do not have the power. And he didn't, right? So no, do not fear questioning, because that's what society has done, that you can't question anything. And then what if I believe in something and you don't believe in it? It's okay. How is that affecting you? then that just means if you're like, no, this is the way, then you're just trying to really put on me something that doesn't belong to me, that belongs to somebody else. Like an idea, a belief that is your own. And that's where we learn how to respect each other and how to coexist in this beautiful earth. And it's limitless. We are limitless beings. So yeah, I do believe that we're hybrids. Not only like we're, go take a DNA test for ancestry and see from how many regions you are, 37% native. But I also consider, I was like, I'm definitely not all my DNA belongs to this world. When the moon is shifting, when the stars are aligned a different way, notice how you act. Things get activated. You're constantly being upgraded and up-leveling. So just keep an open mind. It's all I would say. Keep an open mind. There's all this other beautiful energies out there, and they're not all bad. They're not all bad. Reptilians.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was just thinking, I was like, oh, yeah, reptilian energy. Yes, shapeshifters. I experienced that too. So allow yourself and remember yourself that you are in full control. Anything to add to any of that?
I think that was perfect.
Yeah, and we don't have to be everybody's cup of tea, right? We don't. No. I'm just like, no, we don't have to be everybody's cup of tea, and it's more fun that way. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to wonder. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my own experience, I have a video on YouTube that it's how I met, it's the Anunnaki and how I met my Ascension guides and the Ascension guides and masters. And it's an experience that I had with the Anunnaki and a shapeshifter. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting. And all I can tell you is that it allows me, one, to use my discernment, be very strong, and it allows me to continue to dream and wonder. We don't have to be that little kid to dream and wonder. We can be that little kid all the time. So, yes.
Absolutely.
Anything else to add to our conversation of trying to think? I definitely feel what you experience, camping in Hawaii. It's incredible. And I know we probably all, please leave us in the comments what experience you had with lights, simply, at night, trying to make sense of them. Now that I see anything extraordinary in the sky, I welcome it in a different way rather than fear it. We don't have to be based in fear. If it feels really fearful, ask, is this something that I'm just conditioned to, or is my life really threatened in this moment, my existence being threatened? But allow yourself to soften when it comes to new things. Because,
and I think too, oh, sorry. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Finish your thought.
Just because even now on Earth, there's a lot of people that look like you, look like me, look like all of us, and they're not. They're not really just they're in the human body, and but their agenda is a different one.
And remembering that, as we've mentioned, you're in full control of your experience if you want to claim that. If you want life to happen to you, you can keep allowing life to happen to you. If you want to step into your power, you can step into your power and really create your reality, because we are creator beings. And I personally set my intention daily that I am only working with and receiving from energies of the highest and purest love and light. And that's something that I state all the time. Now, there's people who want to dabble with, other energies, and not that I'm guess, does that come off avoidant? It's not avoidant. I don't think it's my boundary, especially when I'm doing energy work that I am only going to receive from energies of the highest and purest love and light. Trust me, I dive deep into my own shadows. I dive deep into all of that. But when I'm doing energy work or when I'm experiencing potential contact with, other beings, only of the highest and purest love and light. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. I'm the same. And if you are somebody who's like, I would like to experience, know that you can say, because once we've stated that, it's like we become receptive for it. But suddenly you're not feeling you're feeling uneasy about it. It's like, no, I don't want to experience anymore right now. And it stops. The energy respects you. And if you feel that it doesn't, say it again. And definitely that you only work with and permit high vibrational energies to be in your field. And from pure source energy, because you're a pure source being. If you ever want to dabble, that's why I'm like, I had clients and they're like, yeah, it's like I went to so-and-so beach town and they had a lady reading the tarot right, on the street. And I'm like, oh, cool. That was fun. She's like, yeah. And she was very accurate. And I'm like, beautiful. She's probably amazing and all that. But always, since you just don't know where she pulls her information from, always just ask her. Ask if you're going to do everything like that. Hey, who do you contact? How, to do anything like that? Because there's energy that is very curious and may not have your best interest at heart. So I'm like, and if you go to somebody that is just on the street doing, tons of it, no judgment there, and you feel a little yucky after, dust that energy off, just you don't allow it in your field or your body. But I'm like, always, energy is such a sacred thing that even me, when I chat with my clients, when I have potential clients, we always do a prior conversation. I want to make sure that the other person is comfortable with me because I'm going to work with their energy and because I honor it to that high degree. So that's super, super, super important. So continue to dive into your high vibrational frequency and let us know what you discover. I believe Elizabeth April has another little questionnaire, another test out for what type of hybrid being you are. We all are. So taking it will be, why not? Why not? Anything else to add, Miss Lauren?
I don't think so. I think let us know if you have more questions, if you want a part 2, or if you want us to answer questions, we can potentially, expand upon this. If something, got your curiosity going. So yes.
Absolutely. All right. So
the more we talk about and normalize this stuff,
I know,
the more everybody's going to come out of their closet and be like, as a matter of fact, when I was, I had this wild experience. Like there are more people than you think. So the more we normalize and discuss these topics, the easier it'll be for everybody else to talk about it too.
Yeah. So let's chat about it because it's part of our star family. So let's welcome it. Okay, I'm gonna pull a couple cards and Lauren is going to give us. All right, so today is Friday the 13th and there's stigma around that. However, for 30,000 years, women were celebrated on this day. It's a very goddess energy day. There's more to it, but
hence the crowns.
Yes, you like our crowns? We're being fancy. Always. Okay.
Always.
Lauren is just in full thing. I'm like wearing a jacket and a sweater.
Oh, you look amazing.
Still, freaking owning the crown.
That's right.
All right. So I'm going to pull a few cards. I'm just going to let them be. Ooh, it's going to be this one. Oh, how funny. Okay. So this is Sulis, and it's the cycles and rhythm. So honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions.
Oh, one more time. Okay. Sorry, when you were pulling two, I thought.
I'm going to put another one. Do you want me to pull the other one and then you?
No, you can. Or? Sorry, will you repeat it one more time? It's Maeve,
of course.
right?
Yeah. So honor the cycles of your body and cycles of your body, energy levels and emotions. So this is not Sulis. I said Sulis. I'm sorry. Maeve, cycles
and rhythms. Very appropriate on this day of celebrating the goddess and women. I believe it's also Diwali, which is the celebration of Lakshmi, right? So lots of goddess energy today. And part of being a female and tapping into that goddess energy is honoring your cycles and rhythms, your natural flows. And I think that now Mars it's going direct, right? So we've been feeling a lot of like intense, it's been this purge of anger and yuckiness. We've all felt it. We've all experienced it. Hopefully that's going to start to soften and we're really going to be able to usher in this divine feminine quality more and more and more. And part of that, I think, as a woman embodying that yourself is honoring your natural energy states. I need to personally tap in even more to our natural rhythms and, honoring our cycles and what our energy and body naturally wants to be doing at each stage of our cycle. And this is something that I think we used to be very in tune with and have lost connection with along the way. So coming back to that, because we're really, I think when we master our own bodies and cycles and honor where we're at, we're able to be more productive and we're able to understand why we're feeling how we're feeling and not resent it and not feel shame around it and be able to let go of all of that energy and shake that off and just be like, I'm in this stage of my cycle and this is why I'm feeling this way. Oh, this is my productive cycle. I'm going to capitalize on that and really pump out whatever I'm working on, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a really good way to tap into your divine feminine.
Absolutely. And then, I was going to pull another one from the goddess deck. And this is from the goddess oracle deck from during virtual before she turned away from spirituality and became only Christian.
Yes. Her own journey.
She is, yeah, and it's all that. But you can't find these decks anymore. Where from Hay House, you can only find them probably somebody selling them used on eBay. Yeah, not Amazon doesn't even have it. A few clients had asked, and they can't find them. So yes, but I want to pull one from somebody who's super out there, which is Miss Rebecca Campbell. I love her so much. And this is from Work Your Light Oracle card. And I feel it's just the energy also behind these cards are so powerful. Just as the other ones. And I want to touch just on something after this card reading that I think it's appropriate for this time. But okay, let's see. For the collective. Ooh, it's going to be this one. Lemurian energy creating heaven on earth. It's happening. What do you feel with Lemurian?
I think it's just confirmation for this journey we're all on right now. Major confirmation that we are in the process of, this big ascension and shedding all of this dense energy and manipulation and toxic stuff and stepping into more light, stepping into heaven on earth. I love that.
Yeah. Just trusting that we can have anything and anything and everything we desire. We can create that heaven. What is heaven for you? You can create that energy wherever you are right now.
Right. Individually, right? Like, even though, yes, this is a collective mission that we're all on, it's an individual mission too. And what's stopping you from creating heaven in your own life, heaven on earth for you?
Absolutely.
For your family. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And one thing that I just kind of wanted to touch on just really quick, as we did, sorry, I forgot to change it to Oracle card reading. So we were talking about during virtual, right? She did so many decks, and she's just this beautiful clairvoyant psychic, and works with here's the thing. So it's a clairvoyant doctor of psychology who works with the angelic elemental and ascended master realms, and she's the author of many, many things. So was it last year or 2 years ago that she stopped?
I think a couple years ago.
A couple years ago. So she stopped doing decks. She had a vision where she, I believe, had seen Jesus, and Jesus told her that what she was doing was wrong, and she became a full Christian. But she actually did not. She gave up? She denied doing this work. Renounced. Sorry, thank you. Renounce all of this type of esoteric work, but it went pretty extreme. Again, we're judgment free. And what I saw is that a lot of people did not want to use her decks anymore. And they were like, oh my gosh, no. You did?
I felt that for a minute. I did for a minute, yeah.
And so, which is normal, right? And I had actually a client give me a deck. She's like, do you want this deck? And not this particular one, another one that I have of hers. And I was like, sure, I'll take it. So one of the things is, because she no longer supports this, I always feel the energy that the decks hold, the messages, because they're lovely messages. It's not like they're cursed after somebody said, hey, these are no longer my thing. That whatever the energy is that you have put into, that's what it is. It's like if somebody wrote a fantastic book, years later comes out that he had actually sexually assaulted somebody, right? The book had value in your eyes, but you're not going to stop believing, in what you read because of the actions of the human person, when they actually develop something in pure source consciousness, which is kind of what happens with the decks. When she created all this, was from pure source, from love, from energy gifting. So when she stopped, and I had embraced that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to renounce it too. So I was like, that's why they're like, oh, you're still using Doreen Virtue? I'm like, yes, they're my decks. They're not Doreen's decks. She has no weight behind them. When I actually use these cards, I interpret them myself. They gave me, like Lauren just did with this one, right? We're not going verbatim, word by word, on what the book says, even though it says beautiful things about it. But we interpret them individually. So always using your discernment when it comes to that, and not being influenced by anybody else. So Lauren, I'm curious, how do you feel about that, since you're like, I did it for a little bit, I stopped?
No, I agree with what you're saying. I think it was, when I felt that way, it was right after I read a very scathing letter that she had put out there. And I think I was just a bit turned off and set those decks to the side for a bit. And but I have dabbled back into them and realized, I think, conversations with you and just like, okay, like, that's where she is now, but that wasn't where she was when she created these decks.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Like, and if you don't want to use them, don't use them. Always do what feels best for you. There's no judgment towards anybody. We are all in our own individual journeys, and whatever that is, honor it. Mm-hmm. Honor it. All right. So I know, as we're coming to a close, I know Lauren has some yummy information for us, some yummy offers for this Sunday.
Yes, this Sunday I have a Yin and Reiki class in the morning at when do I do it? 10:30 my time? No, 10 a.m. my time, 12 p.m. Pacific time. If you'd like to live on Sunday in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then in the evening, the one you see right there is my Yoga Nidra Sanctuary. It's going to be 5:30 to 6:30, 6:45-ish. And yeah, it's gonna be nice. Again, I'm helping to usher in that divine feminine energy of just embracing rest and really just loving and nourishing yourself. And both of those classes are an incredible way to do so. So Yoga Nidra, if you're not familiar, it's like a really nice guided meditation. So for people who meditate all the time, for people who are super new to meditating, sometimes it's nice to just lay down and listen and let somebody take you on a journey. And that's what I do.
Yay! I love it. We're going to post the links so you can check it out. I love Yoga Nidra. I'm going to have to catch the replay of that one because it is exactly the new moon. And I have a few clients that evening, so I'm excited. But I am booking clients for Reiki healing experiences, energy work next week from the 16th to the 19th. I'm actually not working the following weekend at all. And I have only a few options, a few spots left for next week. So if you're interested, one thing is I work with people that are ready to make a shift. This week, working with my clients, actually today, a couple hours ago, I talked to my last client for this week, and he is in Switzerland. And he already, we just had a session yesterday, and we had the follow-up today, and he's experienced massive shifts. I had another client yesterday morning. By the evening, she had experienced massive shifts, and all these shifts that she has experienced, they've just been coming, and she's really thinking of completely reorganizing her business. So when I work with you, know that it has to be only if you're ready, because things will begin to happen to you quickly. As I come into my own expansion, I help you come into your own expansion, and it moves. I'm just blown away of how quickly it actually all just travels. So let me know. I would love. I think I have openings on Tuesday night, Wednesday, and maybe one Thursday. So I only have like three openings, but thank you so much. Any last minute anything, Miss Lauren?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Laurenkaiwellness. That's that.
Yay! Well, again, thank you so much for being here in this beautiful conversation about life beyond Earth. And let us know if you'd like to dive in a little bit deeper. We can, Lauren and I can really go down this rabbit hole. I actually say it's like this Milky Way adventure, really deep. So, and we'll be more than excited, and we'll just bring it up. So we love all the comments. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend and a beautiful rest of your day. Also, check out Lauren's Nidra. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
And I post them on my website. If you can't make the live, I post them to be able to download.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you again. Have a beautiful weekend. Love you all. Till next time.
Bye.